I'll show these.
Good evening, everyone. We're back here as the Avid Outdoorsman. Me and Cam are here tonight again. What's up, Fleshner? We got a very special guest tonight, Brody and his dad, Corey. Brody is a 9-year-old from PA. He had gotten the interest in the outdoors and has really came out with a special coyote bait for sure. I opened it the other day and about laid me on the garage floor. So we'll be bringing them on here in 1 second. Just want to let you guys know, go on, like, subscribe, and hit that bell for our any of our new content we're putting up. James Springer, how's it going? But we're going to bring them on here and we'll let them tell you a little bit about themselves, where they're from, and what they're up to.
What's going on,
guys? What's up, guys?
Oh, well, we just found a little time to get out of the fur shed and hop on here with you for a little bit.
We got it in the fur shed today.
We're in a dirty office at the moment. We were having IT trouble as well, trying to get these computers to work, but we'll do it on our cell phone.
Good thing we don't work in IT, huh?
I agree.
But yeah, go ahead, introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you guys are from, and what you guys are up to, man.
All right. Well, my name's Corey Brossman. This is my son, Brody.
Hello.
He's 9 years old, and we're from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, in the southeastern part of the state. Been in the outdoor industry for over 25 years. Started off as a pro staff, as most people start off as. And through the years, I've worked my way up the ranks to currently having 5 television shows and producing a 6th one for someone else. Locks Out There is our flagship television show. It's been on for 16 years on the Sportsman Channel, and The Fur Life has been on the Sportsman Channel for 1 year. I'm producing it for a guy named Brian Flowers. We've got a bunch of other shows growing up out there, which is about Brody and his sister. You have a lot of fun on there.
Yeah, as soon as I heard Brody's baits as well, I couldn't believe it.
He's all excited, and that's the reason we're on here. Is Brody loves the outdoors just like his sister, but her Cammie's now 14 and discovered boys, which is
oh man, we got him in this household too.
Big old. Usually we have bear traps hanging up behind us, but they're at the front door, the back door, and we got conibears and everything else around to try to keep Angelo out. But in all seriousness, my boy and my daughter love the outdoors, and one of the things that we love doing is sharing that pastime of trapping in the great outdoors. It's something that he doesn't have to worry about scent control, doesn't have to worry about being quiet. I mean, yes, a little bit of scent control, but not like, bathing before we go out, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun. It's great conservation. And one of the problems that he had at an earlier age, believe it or not, is the fact that setting a DP is very difficult for a young man or a young woman, and even our traditionalists that trap arthritis and things like that. Well, Brody was learning about levers and stuff like that in school, and leverage, and him and one of our partners came up with a kit setter, and he was setting traps at 4 and 5 years old pretty easy, and
Nice.
it kind of escalated to Brody's baits, where he'd come up with different recipes and very different recipes, and the smells and the ingredients that we use are completely opposite of what everyone else uses. And I think what's happening is these animals are literally finding a fragrance or a smell that they've never smelled before, and it holds them a little bit longer and gives them an opportunity to get in a trap.
Nice.
Yeah, like I said, we received your guys' stuff the other day, and it's awesome.
Up. I was about laying down here in the fur shed.
Yeah,
well, must have been the Stingray cider.
Yep.
Hey, and that's one thing we're going to talk about too, since we're on the subject. How'd that come about? I mean, what made you think let's go to something? I mean, totally saltwater, and I mean, out of the norm, and bring it into land trapping.
Well, we love to bow fish,
That's some of our favorite things ever to do. We started
Nice.
back in,
A long time ago.
15 years.
Before he was born. I stingrays, and past few years, last year we started a charter service. And one thing that I've learned about being an outdoorsman is, we don't like to waste anything.
Right,
Whether if we're deer hunting, we try to utilize everything. The deer, no matter what we do, we try to utilize everything. And I've always taught that to my kids. He had a bright idea. Well, actually, what happened was we had a freezer go bad, and we pulled out some of the meat, and some of it had gone bad, and it had a distinct odor. And
yeah.
we put it out. We put it out and put a camera on it, and we were shocked. Not the fact that what had come in, but once it was gone, how often the canines and the bobcats and all the other critters came back and back and back and back and dug and dug and dug. And he's like, we should trap with this stuff. Mm-hmm. So we tried to replicate the freezer going bad, and through that, talking to other lure makers, we've come up with a solid recipe over the last 4 or 5 years with the Stingray cider, and just a dab is all you need. And a very long call is kind of how Brody.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I remember we talked a little bit, just for the people watching, like these baits, they're field tested. And I mean, you said you sent some of this stuff out to universities and things like that as well. So that's something you guys need to know when you guys are going to order these baits. I mean, these scientifically proven to work. I mean,
the stuff that's sort of is at the university. We've got a friend that we bear hunt with, and his daughter is at the University of Tennessee, or was at the University of Tennessee, and they're doing some testing with some of the ingredients that we're putting in that can basically, we'll be able to prove why some of the newer baits coming out, and even some of the stuff that we have, is different than anybody else's. We are using a little bit different ingredients. That's why it's a little bit more expensive than some of the other ones. But we feel, and all the testing, it seems like the critters keep coming back.
It's a different smell for them. They've never smelled it, so they want to see what it is. And
it holds them there longer. It holds them, it's one thing to put out some of the top of the line bait and lures on the market, and we've done this. And yes, absolutely they work. But it seems like they'll come in once, mess around, and then you'll never see them again. Where for some reason with like the fur kicker, and especially the end of the line in the late season, they just keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back and dig and dig and dig. For instance, just last week, my father put out a new test location in northern Pennsylvania. Now, for the guys that are watching or girls that are watching from the East Coast, Pennsylvania coyotes, a lot like your Ohio coyotes, are extremely smart, extremely. So we're working on a new one for next year. We're always a year out, and he had put this stuff out, and the very first night a coyote came in and walked by it, and 10 minutes later came by it, and then was there for 5 minutes, and was in what I would call the circle for more than 5 minutes, which gives you as the trapper more of an opportunity to catch him. Now, does it work like that time? No, but we're like 70% of the time the animals are coming in for a long period of time. We just posted a video a couple of days ago from sites from Kansas, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and more of it's from Pennsylvania, where the red foxes were just glued to it. We actually had 4 cameras on the bottom of a tree with 4 different baits, and we wanted to see which one they tend to go to first. We wanted to see how long they would stay there. We actually have a tomcat come in, just a wild feral cat. That was weird. Yeah, he comes in, and a fox must have already been there, and they fight over the location, and they're rolling around in a thing, and the fox.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So my point to this whole thing is the recipe that we've come up with for whatever reason, and I don't have an answer other than it's a completely new smell that they have never had before, and they like it. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was trapping 15 to 20 coyotes in Kansas while I was there deer hunting. The last couple of years, when we're using solely Brody's baits, we've gone from 75 to over 100. And the only thing that's changed is I'm using his baits. And I'm not saying no one else's work, because there are some absolutely amazing lure makers and stuff out there. But I think ours is a little bit different because of some of the ingredients no one's ever used before, and it makes sense.
You can smell the difference in them. I mean, we said that
I
last
probably
night.
got a couple hundred
Yeah.
different baits back here, and I've
distinct.
smelled them all. I mean, it
The
is
Bobcats too. The Bobcats, we've really learned a lot on the Bobcats as well. Even if it's a cubby set where you're basically putting in, some dead animals, we're still putting that Stingray cider there up high to catch more of the air and stuff like that. And you can literally watch a Bobcat in some of the videos go around it 3 or 4 times sniffing instead of just going right in for the meat. And we're working on a new one. What's the new Bobcat lure?
Peepin' Tom.
Peepin' Tom. So next year we'll have
Really.
Tom and Sore Loser are the 2 for next year.
I remember how we came up with Sore Loser. So Sore Loser was, we're just driving around, and I think to myself, wait a minute. I was thinking of bait names, and I'm thinking of a good whitetail bait right now, but I can't really say it. But that one name comes up. I'm like, hey, Dad, don't you think this is a good name for a bait? So we made that, and can I say the
new one?
No, can I say the whitetail bait?
No, that's a top secret for next year. We can't tell everybody we're going to have a deer trap. But no, the trap lure, we have 2 new ones for 2023. It'll be called Sore Loser, and that goes, a lot of different ways. And what we're going to do a little different than maybe some of the other bait manufacturers is we're going to offer up something where we're going to give you a small amount of it for free, basically pay shipping, and have you try some of the new stuff. We've already used it for a couple of years. We know it works, but we know it works. So we need, 15, 20 field testers from all across the country to say, hey, we tried this and we also had some success. And that's what we've done in the past. And, when we brought this to market, we were anxious. We had a lot of local guys. As you know, you guys make baits and lures, and you always give it to your buddies and like, dude, you got to sell this. You got to. We really, truly, honestly feel we have something a little bit different. Does it work every time? No, but it seems like most of the time we've had some great success. And when you have a 9-year-old out there who sets a trap, I mean, not that, he doesn't worry too much about knee pads and gloves. He's just out there, and he's a kid. He's throwing rocks and walking around. So he's disturbing a bigger area than what maybe you and I would. And he's catching coyotes all by himself. It says something about something, and we're putting a lot of on the bait. So, we're really excited about it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we got 5 baits out this year, and then the kit setter is what we're starting with. And it's a solid line. We're not going to be one of those companies that come out with 20 or 30 different baits and lures. We feel like when it comes to canines, possums, bobcats, raccoons, we have a stout line. And like I said, the Peepin' Tom is just because we love chasing bobcats, and sometimes we want a little bit something different. I think the Peepin' Tom is going to be the answer. And then we don't have a gland type lure at the moment, and that's what Sore Loser will be for next year. It's a gland lure that attracts everything. So, we're excited. We got a lot of big things in the works.
Funny thing about the Stingray cider. One time, I was coming back from school from the bus stop, and I come down with a friend, and this time I decided to go down the back roads. And the back roads is where, it's in my backyard. So we have the fur shed back there, and they're making baits and grinding stuff up and stuff. I go down there with my friends, and he's about to fall over. And he's like, see you later, Brody. I'm bye. I'm like, where are you going?
Yeah, they don't want nothing. The neighbors, God bless them. They all pray for that blows it to our house, but normally we don't get an east wind. So the neighbors on all 3 sides of us are somewhat, but it's all in fun. And like I said, it's something that we love sharing with Brody. He was out all day yesterday, bending kit setters, and
that's my favorite thing to do now.
Yeah. And
so do you guys make all these baits then your guys' self? I mean, is that
everything except the trailing scent? So the trailing scent is more of It's an oil-based product. I've got a really good friend that has some great oil lures that he uses for fishing. And when we got into this, we didn't want to mess with anything, no fish oils or things like that. So I'd called my good buddy Darren up, and I'm like, let me try some of your fishing stuff in the trapping world. And we were absolutely blown away on some of the results we were having. So I'd called him and said, could you put some of this in bottles? And we call it trailing scent, the trailing scent FS, which is that one stands for fish. It's an oil base. It's great for DPs. If you're up on a bank and you have your trap down low, you can kind of guide them down. We have used it in coyote sets. We've used it in bobcat sets, but it's primarily more to kind of lead those raccoons and skunks and stuff like that into your DP sets, or live traps is where it works really good. And then but everything else is made right here in Pennsylvania. We've got the kit setters. We get the steel from a shop.
Them out today.
Yep, we do it all. And the only thing, the DP buffet is a recipe that Brody had come up with. And one of our partners has two little girls, Tilly and Lockett, and they want to be part of it as well. So Tilly and Lockett mix up the DP buffet for us in Kentucky and bottle it. But other than that, I mean, yeah, we basically as a group, Brian Dickus at Mike's Archery is one of the owners. He's kind of overseeing it, helping us with the logistics of things. And then Brody and I take care of all the baits and lures other than the trailing scent, and then and the kit setters. And then Cody and them are making the DP buffet.
Speaking of the kit setters and DP, we have a kit setter right over here that's all packaged up. It's got the instructions and everything in it. And we also got a DP buffet over there.
Yeah. We tried to do everything a step above. You know, my grandpa always taught us, if you're going to do it right. And, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, your stuff's so fancy. Well, I promise you that, you know, it's not about a fancy label. There's more to our products. And we just want everybody to enjoy it. We want to stand out. We appreciate y'all, you know, being a dealer and taking care of it. And it's folks like yourselves that are going to help this grow, and we're all going to grow together.
And that's what we're all about.
Here. Yeah, that's our biggest thing is every year, our trap line, we invite any of the kids in the neighborhood that want to go. And honestly, even if there's adults anywhere, you know, nearby me that have never been or want to go, we'll take them. And the first day I seen your post, I don't even know what it was on. I think it was for Life TV about Brody's baits and looking for dealers. I was like, I'm in, you know, I will buy every bait that any kid makes in my lifetime. I will buy it. Like
and we feel for it. You know, a lot of young entrepreneurs out there, and the only way they're ever going to get a step up is by us, the traditionalists, you know, buying their product and at least giving it a try. You know, there's no guarantee in anybody's baits. I don't care, you know, how great they say it is or how great we say it is, but you do everything right with our products, we're pretty certain you're gonna have great results. And if you don't, let us know. If the animals are for some reason not, let us know. You know, but we've so far so good. You know, with everybody that's used in the last few years. I mean, we started this probably 3 or 4 years ago. You were probably 4 or 5, you know, we've just all of a sudden decided we're going to bring this to life. And to be honest, the main reason is the kit setter. I want to see every parent, every uncle, every aunt, whatever it is, get those kids out there and get them on the trap line and let them be part of it. Let them set a DP by themselves. That's our goal. You know, we're really not making anything on these kit setters, and we don't intend to. Our goal is to sell these to people and allow them to go out and have a tool that the kids ain't putting their fingers anywhere near the hole, and they're able to set that. I mean, Brody literally, or Tilly, who's much younger, Brody, they can set a DP with one finger.
We're also thinking about another little company, and it's with Lockett. but I can't really tell you that now.
These kids are full of ideas for sure. And I said, I'm going to have to duct tape his mouth shut. But in all fairness, that's what it's all about. You can see the excitement on his face. You know, he comes to me with these ideas. By no means do I have a lot of money. But I will do what I can for my kids, as many of you out there will do. And if Brody wants to take this as far as he wants to take it, you know, it'd be great if Bass Pro one day called and said, we'd love to put your kit setters in there. You know, that would be a true honor. But right now we're steering away from the box stores and going to stick to the dealers who are out there trapping already, like y'all. And you know, we're just encouraging so many people to get out there and take the kids. That's what I think it's all about. Whether it's our bait or, like you said, if you know another young child, I see it on a lot of the groups out there. There's a lot of young ladies, young men. You know, I encourage you to buy, you know, give them the 10, 15, 20 bucks. It makes them feel great.
Yeah, it ain't about the bait, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just there to help, you know.
It's like a lemonade stand, a little bit better. You know, we all can't stop but not going and have a glass of lemonade. Well, you know, spend that 15 bucks or whatever it is and get it, because, you know, I'm pretty sure that their parents have already tried it out. And they're not selling you, you know, a can of Alpo dog food. I'm sure it's something real. And you might get lucky and actually like, you know, you might stumble onto something great. And hopefully you think that when you think of Brody's baits.
Yeah. And speaking on that, I want to a huge thank you to you guys for sending the DP setters, them kit setters there. Yeah. We actually just got sponsored by Duke Traps, and they asked what traps we wanted, and I told them just to send us DPs. I said they're all going to giveaways for the kids.
That's awesome.
Anybody that follows our Facebook page knows I try to help out as much as possible. I'm the same way. I'm no means a rich man, but I will do everything I can to get the kids involved. I'm going to do Duke DP, the setter, and one of Brody's DP buffets for the giveaway for one of the kids. And then I have a few kids that run the line with me every year that will receive their own. Everything will be on video this year. So
you let us know shirts too. You just let me know the sizes and we'll get them shipped out to you.
I do like your guys' shirts.
I got one on right now, man.
They come out pretty good.
Yeah.
So, the nice thing, it's kind of funny. That's my daughter's little gig. She has Cammie's tees, so she.
Okay.
That's what I told him. I said they do everything at that house. He's like, let me go press some t-shirts real quick. I'm like, oh man.
Shirts for these boys. She's like, no problem. I got a bunch here. So, you know,
awesome.
One thing about me being in the industry, I've kind of learned some shortcuts and life hacks a little bit to kind of cut back on expenses. Because, like I said, it'd be nice if I had a deeper pockets, because there's so much more I'd love to do. But I was told you got to crawl before you walk before you run, and before you sprint. And right now we're starting to get up off the crawling stage a little bit. And our new website should be up this coming week, which is going to be great. You know, we're focusing more on sending everybody to the dealers. Our prices on our website are going to be much higher. We're trying to deter them from coming to us. We want them to go to our dealers. We'll have a list of all the dealers on there, so they can, you know, they'll be able to go on there and pick and choose where they want to go, or they can just search the internet. But there'll be a lot of upcoming how-to videos on our website. There'll be a bunch of you know, things about our product and the direction we're going. And for the dealers, there'll be a portal for you guys, so it's real simple for you guys to order again and again and again. And like I said, we're just trying to keep this real easy and fun. And at the same time, I mean, I know fur prices are down. Gosh, we all know that. But I saw a meme the other day. It's not about the gas. And it really isn't about the fur prices. For us, it's about getting to our farms and trying to remove unwanted critters, you know, bobcat, possums, all that stuff. But for me personally, it's watching him get out of the truck. I mean, you and I think it's like Christmas every morning, but you take a knife, boy, he's just, woohoo, we got him.
I know. I was way more excited when I was 9 years old too.
And my daughter runs with us all the time.
Yeah, she's 7 and she absolutely loves it, man.
There's something to say about, you know, kids and trapping. I mean, the non-believers, you're always going to have that hate. But my wife was kind of on the fence about it a few times, and now, she's 100% supporting it. She's like, this is really cool. And, we have a TV show called Fur Kickers, and we only do a select few episodes. They're more for the non-believers on what trapping is all about. And we try to emphasize on there really, really, really strongly is, don't hate us, understand what we're doing is great. I know it may not look the best. I think it looks cool. You think it looks cool, but I understand people, they don't understand that animal's basically handcuffed, no different than a prisoner's being handcuffed. And, we're going to take that animal's life as quickly as possible, humanely, and we're going to utilize as much as that animal as possible. I mean, foxes for us, we utilize just about every part of it. Coyotes, same way. And the more we're getting into this lure making and bait making, we're starting to learn all the tricks of the trades of some of the old timers that are coming to us, which is
using even more of these animals.
Exactly.
It's time consuming, but it's worth it at the end. I mean, we remove all glands. Most of our animals, depending on how they look, I mean, we skin all the way down across the toes.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
And the meat, I mean, there's some that we will eat, obviously, but
bobcats, yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, bobcats, the beaver, the muskrats.
Yep. And then, there's guys out there now looking for skulls. We stumbled.
That's our big thing too right now. Skulls. We've had a bunch of people
and poles.
Yeah, and poles.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So, we're utilizing, over 80% of these animals. And is it time consuming? Yes, but is it worth it?
Obviously, yes.
Yeah. I have fun out here all night though, so it don't matter to me.
I tell you, there's a lot of, we started putting trail cameras, cell cameras on a lot of our baits. And one of the funniest stories was Brody and I had just literally laid in bed. We were in Kansas.
Oh, this is.
And we had a camera on
cubby set.
No, it was we just had a deer carcass wired up. We were in Kansas.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the other one.
And in the field in the background, we had several traps, and we just laid our heads down, and of course the notifications are going off. But those I always keep because I want to know. Sure enough, we had a coyote. So there I was in Minions PJs, and
that mom bought you for Christmas.
Yep.
Shout out, Mom.
Yeah, we're out there. We were out there in our PJs dispatching this coyote. We've done it with badgers. But if I can encourage some people, trail cameras can really help you learn a lot about your trap set or your sets. Yep. How the animals come in. You may think, oh, I got this one. And, I literally just watched over 3,500 videos 4 days ago. My mom and I sat down here and watched some videos from our trail cameras. And I learned a lot watching these red foxes and watching these coyotes come into a set and how not everyone does the same thing. And trying to figure out on the screen exactly how many inches, where them pads are setting. And it has really helped us this year. I'm excited about this coming fall. I mean, our season in Pennsylvania starts, I believe, on the 22nd. Yeah. I'll be gone, and then I'm going to Kansas, and then their season comes into mid-November. So I won't get to trap until probably mid-November, but I will be ready. We'll run about 115 mile trap line in Kansas, and then we'll trap Kansas. Kentucky, we're going to do Raccoon Wars. Maybe we'll try to get you guys down there. Fur Life TV, along with myself and one of our partners, is running a thing called Coon Wars, where we're just it's all for the kids. You're gonna be allowed so many DP traps, and we'll provide you a bunch of farms, and we're gonna let the kids go out there and set the DPs, and we're gonna give them prizes. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna film it.
Let us know if you guys need anything for that too. I mean, we'll be more than happy to help out.
Yeah, sponsor whatever you guys need.
Long drive. Yeah, it won't be a long drive for you guys. So we're looking at doing that at the end of the season in February. I know it's not the greatest time, but it's just to get a couple kids out there, and it's all about the kids. They're doing it all. We're just gonna sit there and kind of. So we got that, and man, just super excited about this fall. I used to get excited about deer hunting like this.
Yeah.
That's how we were just talking about that today. We went out hunting this morning.
I used to love it, man. I was a big buck chasing fool, and now I'm just like,
I don't care about it.
I don't want to gut it. I don't want to skin.
It's so bad. I just honestly, I want the meat. I mean, I go out, shoot the first doe I see.
Yep.
And I take 4 hours to get it processed, and it's so. I never thought I'd say this, but I'd much rather be skinning and fleshing animals all day than.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yes,
2 days ago, I got a new farm. It was so funny. It's my cousin. He really enjoys watching the animals. He's like, you can shoot all the deer you want. He said, but I have some foxes and some other things. He goes, I kind of like watching them. I'm like, that's fine. I'm sitting in the tree stand. The first animal I see on this brand new farm becomes a beautiful red fox, and I'm just like, God, can I get it? Think about it. And personally, trapping's really changed a lot for us, and it's. I remember I've been trapping. A lot of people. It's funny how some people with this business are like, oh, he's been trapping a year now. He's having a business. I've been trapping since I'm 14 years old. I've been trapping for over 30 years. Saying that, I was never good at it. I was that my family never trapped, and I didn't know anybody that trapped. So I was that kid that would go to deer camp and take the scraps from deer camp, dump it on a stump, and put 20 traps around it because I didn't know no better. Whether it was right or wrong, I didn't know. And I would trap 1 or 2 raccoons and a couple skunks, and that's how I started learning. It took a little while for me to get my first fox. And when I did get my first fox, I was probably 16. And when I got there, it was snow on the ground. I followed the fox tracks in. There's blood everywhere. My trap was gone and the fox was gone. And they put a bitter taste in my mouth. That year, I bought 10 traps and 8 of the 10 got stolen. And I backed up. I'm like, these guys I don't want to trap. I don't want nothing to do with this. And then it was a couple more years. I got back into it when I met my wife because her dad had such a great farm. Trapped there for years. And there again, I was getting traps taken and traps taken and traps taken. And I got out of it again. And then when the kids came back around, I started tagging out early and I was bored. And we had a blonde raccoon running around, and I trapped him, and it jump started me back up into it. And now, boy, yep, yeah, we've been blessed. We got some really cool stuff over the last couple of years. Probably one of the coolest experiences. Tell them about when we went to Pennsylvania. We wanted a bobcat out of Pennsylvania. We drew a tag. We got a tag.
Oh, you're talking about
the big one? Yeah, he's 45 pounds. Humongous. We got him. He should be hanging up behind us, but the taxidermist down in Tennessee did an absolute wonderful job. It's
actually got one of the biggest black squirrels in the house.
Oh yeah, he shot a black squirrel that same day. So he put the squirrel in his mouth.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we and that was one of the first bobcats we ever got on the Stingray cider, and that sort of started escalating this, and that was like 4 years ago now.
Yep.
It was 4. You were real little.
I was 5.
Yeah. So me, you, and your papa. But like I said, we couldn't thank everybody enough for the support, and where this goes, nobody knows, but we're going to take it as far as it'll go. And I can't wait to this fall to start seeing photos of the little kids with the raccoon or possum in one hand and a kit setter in the other.
Oh,
that's going to make this whole thing worth it.
I remember the first ever animal I've ever caught by myself. It was it was not a bad possum. It was a pretty big possum. How big was it?
It was a big possum.
And I remember, hey Dad, you got the kit setter? Hey Dad, you forget the kit setter? Hey Dad, I need the kit setter. And I kept using it. And Dad would help me on those. I said, Dad, you can go set a trap over there. I'm gonna try my own and set a trap over here. So I got the kit setter. I got the DP. Put it in the ground. Put some stuff in it. Put some DP buffet in it. And the next day, he has a bobcat that is purely red. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked over. I'm like, I don't care about that bobcat. Give me that possum.
Yeah, he was. It was. We first got the kit setters ready. and he was able to. They were fully functional. I was putting in a dirt hole, and he's over there off to the side. And sure enough, we go in there, and of course, you're all excited about this beautiful bobcat. And Brody's screaming. I'm like, "What's your problem?" And he had a little. It wasn't a huge possum,
It was big.
but it was. He did it all by himself. I totally could have cared less if that bobcat would have got out. I wouldn't even cared. To see that excitement on a kid's face is what Brody's Baits is built on, and that's I can't wait to see where this goes, and we're excited. Truly are. I gotta
talk a little bit about your guys' season this year. What type of line do you guys run mainly? You guys mainly run a mixed bag? Do you have a focus on one or two animals? I mean, you said you have over 100 miles out in Kansas. I mean, what's all going into this, and what are you trying to pull out of it?
So like, for instance, when we're in Kansas, we have a lot of farms there. My good friend Jesse Dunlap and Jed States have a lot of permission from a lot of farms. Some are family farms, some are leases. So when we go out for the first run, for instance, in November, their bird hunting season is still in. So I have to be really, really, really careful on where I set traps, because there's a lot of dog hunters out there for pheasants. So primarily that time of year, I'll have a lot of covey sets set up for bobcats. And we'll hit our personal farms that we're deer hunting on, but we'll go after the coyotes and the bobcats really, really heavy. Okay. When I go back out there in December and everything's closed, it's a free for all. For instance, we have a huge loop that we run. So you get up at 7 a.m. and I'm back about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you're skinning. And in that loop, we'll roll into, like, for instance, last year, the first farm was up at Blecka's, and we had like 5 DP traps on that farm and 4 or 5 footholds. Those DP traps were all filled every day. I think we went about 36 coons off of it. It was like that. There's so many animals out there, it's not even funny. So we primarily try to get, because it's legal to bait deer, so we try to remove a lot of the skunks and raccoons and possums near the baits, and then the field edges and stuff like that. I'll check with my binoculars. So we'll drive out, we'll go to the deer baits, take care of the DPs, glass, check the other ones, go out there if we need to, and then swing back and buy. There's a lot of homesteads out there where the cats are, and then get those cats. There's a few creeks along the way that we'll set some body grippers and try to get the beavers, which last year we were able to get some beavers. They don't really have a whole lot of muskrats, so we don't mess with them. And occasionally we get a badger. I mean, last year we got 7 or 8 badgers.
Yeah, but speaking of Blecka's, at Blecka's I just got a deer.
We just got back youth season. He was able to kill a nice velvet buck last month.
Nice, dude.
But while we're out there, we're watching the coons go by, and we're drooling over the raccoons.
Dude, that's how we are. We'll work and be out in the middle of nowhere and just walk past out, and we're like, dude, you see these dang coon trails all over the place? Like, I mean, we don't even. First thing I'm looking at is what animals are moving in the areas that I'm in right now.
You look at this is my opinion, and someone may argue. If you look at some of the greatest bow hunters in the country, I'm talking Tom Miranda, Tim Wells, those type of guys. They're trappers, especially Tom. The trapping, and I know it's taught him a lot. Trapping teaches you to look. How many times when you were just chasing whitetails, you'd probably never noticed a legit game trail? When game trail, I'm talking about the one that's about 5 inches wide that goes through the tunnels through. Man, when I'm walking through the woods now, I feel like I don't miss anything. I'm talking, looking for raccoon scat at the base of the trees, and what's he eating? Looking for den trees. We're looking for game trails. You step in a creek. I guarantee you guys do this. You step in a creek and you're like, oh, sure in heck, got to be a mink track here somewhere.
Looking for that little cubby in the bank, something.
Muskrat holes,
And I think it makes, if more people would take the time to trap, and I truly believe this, I think over the next 4 or 5 years, you're going to start seeing an increase in trapping licenses and more trappers. And the reason I say that is deer hunting obviously is the cream of the crop. But when these guys tag out and they're spending top dollar for a lease or top dollar for a farm, they're spending money on food plots, and if they can bait, they're putting tons of corn out, but they're neglecting to think about how much corn is that raccoon eating, how much turkey eggs did that possum take out, and they're going to start figuring out real quick that trapping can help their farms, and a weekend trapper can do just as good as a guy that's running a long line. You know, he goes out there, he already knows his property, so he knows, okay, there's probably a couple coons over there or possums, and that's where he needs to set the DP so they can be successful. You don't have to be a long line trapper or a guy that's running a 20-mile. You know, one of the TV shows we're going to produce for Fur Life this year is I'm going to give him 2 or 3 small farms that he doesn't know about, and he's going to teach everyone his way of coming in and figuring out a farm quickly, efficiently, and we'll get some results. Trapping can really help. If you're watching this out there and you're not a trapper, I highly recommend, you know, whether it's Duke traps or any traps out there, you know, get some 550 pros, you know, get a half a dozen of them, get a half a dozen DPs, and maybe a couple, you know, body grippers for bucket sets, or if you have some water and you want to get a beaver, get a 330. But watch some YouTube videos, or give us a call, or call y'all and ask some questions. It's not rocket science. It's kind of common sense. You're going to go in there, you want to blend the set together real well, you know, and figure out the exact length, whether it's 9 inches to the left or the right, you know, figure all that stuff out, have fun with it. But at the very least, get 6 DPs and put some DP buffet out there and remove some raccoons. You're going to start seeing an increase. I mean, I give you plenty of phone numbers to farms in Tennessee where we've been the last couple of years, where they're like, our turkey population has quadrupled. And I'm like, well, it should. You know, we took over 100 raccoons off your farm last year because it's never been trapped. You know, you think about
how we are. We have traps out where we hunt at, because, I mean, I don't think there's a coon out there that's under 4X.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're massive.
They're huge.
But it hasn't been trapped in years, and I'll say I slacked on it a good bit before he even moved up here. I guess I just steered away from it a little bit because I didn't notice it, you know what I mean? And then I went out there one spring turkey season and seen nothing. Like literally none. And I'm like, well, something's got to go. And then I started looking around and I'm like, well, I could trap 400 raccoon off this property in a year. Like, that's a problem. So we've hammered them down, and it's out of the way. So I usually, when I take my vacation, that's where I start at, because it's the farthest point from the house.
And that place is weird, especially this year. Like, we went out opening day and saw 2 coyotes opening day. But the morning of, it sounded like you were at a turkey farm.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we set traps and had to release a bobcat the other day. So I'm like, there's so much stuff there.
I mean, I'm like, and it's not, I mean, this isn't Kansas. I mean, you live in PA nowadays. We live out in the hills. I mean, 250 acres here is quite a bit of land.
That's a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. And that's about the area we had to work with. I'd say that one side's probably 125 of it. But I mean, to have coyotes, bobcats, and
fox,
all those coons, and still all those turkeys living in the same 125 acres, that's it's a little confusing as a trapper, you know?
It's a food chain for a reason. And you know, exactly. you got to eradicate, or that's probably the wrong word. You got to control, you know, the raccoons, the possums, and skunks. And, you know, I could tell you story after story after story about some of our farms, and it's just truly helping. It is truly helping. The more trapping we do, the better our farms are getting. One of the farms, you know, the guy, they love to pheasant and quail hunt, and he's like, man, it's flourishing. And I'm like, you're welcome. You know, I mean, I don't say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you remove, you know, some coyotes off your property and remove some raccoons and stuff, you're going to have the stuff underneath them flourish more and more and more.
In
And
the past couple of years, that's one thing we've gotten into more is
property management side
side of things. So we'll have, I mean, we have quite a few people that call us, ask for our opinions and stuff on their properties, or have them come look at it and stuff. And that's the first thing we say is, what other animals do you have out here, and how many of them?
Yeah, I got 700 coons at your feeder every night.
You're not going to have turkeys when turkey season comes around. You know, like it's not.
You know what else too? And you hit the nail on the head. When they call you to go do trapping, it opens up a door. Because if you go out there and you can respect their land and not rut it up and do this and remove some critters, it's going to open up the door for, well, hey, Bob's not leasing my ground no more. You boys done a great job. Go ahead and now you can deer hunt it. That's happened to me.
We got a guy like that, man. This old guy, he'll let us. I mean, we could build a house on his property.
Yeah, he wouldn't even care.
But we're out there picking up calves and horses and stuff for him. We're out there asking him. We went by one day, talked to him probably 2 days before we went out there. We were like, hey, next time you bail, hey, call us. Went out there, it's cut, not bailed yet. We go up there, rip him a new one. Hey, why didn't you call us? You know? So, and you're right. And that's because we go on that property and we take care of it. If we see something that's going on there, I mean, we let him know. If we see trash on that property, we pick the trash up. We pick up after ourselves. I mean, after trapping season's over and we pull traps, there's not one property that you can go to and say, oh, there's been people all through these woods. I mean, we take care of these properties. Yeah. That's why we do it. People think, oh, we go out to trap just so we can shoot an animal and skin it and sell its fur. It has nothing, not really, at this point, it has nothing to do with the fur. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with even killing the animals. We're a conservationist. There can't be 600 coons out there to be able to have a turkey population. And when you have all those different habitats on a property, you should be able to have multiple species living there and living there comfortably. And that's where us as trappers come in.
Correct. And I couldn't agree more. One of the funny stories that I wanted to, I know he'll get a kick out of this, was this past year we were in Tennessee, and we're down there filming an episode with Fur Life, and we're on a farm that my real close friend is the only one on it. It's same situation. We started trapping it years ago, and he's got the rights to it now, and he deer hunts it. We trap it. Well, Brody sticks out this trap right on the fence line, where he's probably 5 foot in. He's right on the fence line. He puts a DP in. I think I put 4 or 5 more DPs and some footholds on that place, and we had some body grippers in the creek for mink and beaver and otter. And I had a camera on one trap, on his trap, because he set it all by himself. So go ahead and tell him what happened when we got there in the morning.
When we got there in the morning, I was still in the truck because it was cold. I'm laying down in the truck. I'm like, and they're out there saying it's stolen. I'm like, what?
We walk
out there, it's stolen. I'm like, who the heck stole my trap? And we caught him on camera. So there's a point to the story. So we, sure enough, the only trap that was taken was that one, and there's a Tacticam on video mode, and all the traps on that farm were sprung. One had a little bit of blood in it, was a foothold. One had a coyote in it, which we got the coyote. Yeah. So Merkel's like, let's go back and watch the video. As soon as it turns on, he's like, I know these people. He's like, we'll go. So we knock on their door. And instead of going down there and raising Cain, I just wanted his trap back. I didn't care that. First of all, I couldn't figure out why they were on the property to begin with. Well, they were walking their dog. The story we got was they walk their dog every day there. The landowner specifically told them to stay off. Our guy specifically told them to stay off. We called the 2 neighbors that do walk their dogs in there that ain't supposed to, that we're going to be trapping, to be careful. Well, they didn't get the memo. And, of course, the dog was not on a leash and ran over, stepped in one of the traps, and there was nothing wrong with the dog. There was a little bit of blood there, but I could tell it was a canine of some sort. And they got upset. They tried to take those traps. They couldn't get those out of the ground because I put them in. Well, the one that I put in, they didn't steal it.
Yeah, they didn't steal that one. They go down, and of course, there's a DP trap. So the video, I should send it to you because it's hilarious. Watching these guys, they couldn't figure out how it goes off.
It's there.
Oh, it's there.
Oh gosh,
They're poking at it. so that was comical. Finally, he takes it and he shakes it, and it clicked off. Well, he rips it out of the ground. Brody, it must not have had. I mean, it was fine for a raccoon.
It was all the way down.
But
I don't know how
this boy, he got it out. Well, he walks right up to the camera and he starts cussing me out. He's like, "This is,
Oh my God."
Well, we knock on his door, and his wife comes out and he comes out, and they right away want to fight and carry on. And we're trying to explain to him, like, if we call the law, this will get ugly, Finally, I said, "Listen, I just want my kid's trap back. You didn't take my trap. You took his." So they gave us a trap back. We educated them as best we could. If you're watching this and you're on the other side of the fence, don't take our stuff. Leave our stuff alone. It drove me crazy that somebody was that naive to take it. You should have. If they would have took the camera, we still wouldn't know who had it. But they didn't take it.
Something was they went around and tried to find every trap and spring them all off.
Yeah, you could hear them. There's one over here, click, because they would click the camera and it had good audio. So I don't ever what I
thank God they weren't trying to set off a beaver trap or something.
Well, they never went to the creek, thank goodness, because the 330 was down there. That would have been if they couldn't figure out how to get a DP to go off.
You've been visiting them at the local medical center, getting their fingers put back on.
The best part was the lady said, "Well, we were going to return it because we noticed it's called a dog proof, and dogs don't have the dexterity, so we were going to put that one back." I'm like, "Well, you didn't." I was like, so they were trying to tell us what we were allowed to trap with. I said, "Did you see the trap down by the woods?" And she's like, "No, there was something in it. I don't know whose dog you got." And Brody goes, "It was a coyote." There literally was a coyote in the trap.
And see, that's the problem.
Instead of trying to let it go.
She lied.
I mean,
yeah.
She lied to me. I said, "Hey, you see that bobcat that hung out by that trap?" She's like, "Yeah, I seen it." I'm like, "There was no bobcat there."
Yeah, they just, my point to this was, we have a fight on our hands. We try to keep it G-rated, but at the same time, we shouldn't have to apologize to anybody for what our God-given right is. I mean, it is a privilege, but I get on forums all the time, and you always have that one, that jumps on. It's a non-believer, and too many people attack them. They have their right to their opinion as well.
Yeah, educate them.
Educate them is one, and that's we always say we're trying. And if you watch Fur Kickers, if you watch Fur Life TV, or if you get on anything that we do, sure, we're trying to sell product, but at the same time, we truly are trying to educate the non-believers. Listen, you're never going to probably sway them to say, "Okay, I'm going to go buy traps." But if I get them at the very least to understand that DP stands for dog proof, maybe they'll walk by it next time and go, "Well, he's trying to get the raccoons out of the area." I'll probably they'll never be satisfied if they know there's a foothold on that. And that's fine. That's their opinion. But I think we educated enough, at least on the silver cans, that, hey, we'll let that go because my dog can't get stuck in it. So,
yeah. Exactly. And, we got about, 7 minutes here, but, I mean, we was even talking the other day. I know next year we're going to Iowa, but we wanted to make some trips.
Yep. Trap. We're gonna go
Iowa to deer hunt. You doing good? You going trap?
We're going out there to trap, man. We don't have that road right of ways like they do. I need parts.
And let me know what's going. I got a lot of friends in Iowa that would be more than happy to allow you to go out there and trap those.
Well, we appreciate it. But we was just talking, and I mean, we might even try to come over toward you guys someday here and.
You're welcome.
You guys for a little bit, even if we don't trap, just to run with you guys and see how you guys do stuff.
Well, let's at least try to hook up in Kentucky for Coon Wars.
That'd be great.
You just let us know the dates and we'll be there, man.
Yeah, it'll be in February at the end of the season. We're gonna, you bring a couple of kids. We're gonna have a couple kids on each team, and let everybody have some fun with it.
Cool.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Hey, Brody, 5 minutes left, man. Tell these kids out here and these young trappers. Give them some advice if they're wanting to start a line or start their own bait company or something. Give them some advice and some things that they need to do and
some goals,
some goals to work with of how you got there, man.
I'm gonna need help with this, but there's only one thing that you need. You just need to believe in yourself. You need to believe that you can make the achievement, you can make the goal happen, and you just gotta believe that whenever you set that trap, you gotta believe that when you think that there's gonna be an animal in there, you gotta keep trying, set more traps maybe, and you set them around the area. You get one, that's all right, but if you don't get one, that's still good because you still had fun and it taught you a life lesson about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen,
dude, as long as you make bait,
I'll be dealing it for you,
it.
buddy. I
I'll
promise.
sell it. You make it, I'll sell it.
We're gonna go out and finish spray painting the kit setters, and I'm going deer hunting in the morning.
It's 7 o'clock.
Guys, we really appreciate being on here.
Man, we appreciate you guys. Like I said, anything you guys need from us, let us know. I'm happy. We're blessed to be dealing for you guys, man. Working with you.
We're blessed to have you guys as dealers and as friends, more importantly. And
exactly.
Looking for a lot of cool things. So I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's little podcast. And I'm going up to take a leak, and then I'm going to spray paint.
Yeah, we'll catch up with y'all. I appreciate you guys for real.
Take it easy, man.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Later, Brody.
Later. That was awesome.
All right, fellas. That was episode 4 of the podcast here with Brody's Baits. That was Brody and his dad Corey.
Let's not forget, guys, this is why we do it.
This right here is where it's at, man. I love to see the enthusiasm on that kid's face. He's enjoying it. He's loving it. And we have their baits in stock up there. There it is. But we do have their stuff in stock and ready to ship out if anybody's wanting to
if you're on our Facebook page, I do have the prices pinned up. We're still working on getting the website stuff up. There's just a couple things we got to get taken care of, but prices are on our Facebook page.
And
if you're seeing this on YouTube,
t-shirts.
If you're seeing this on YouTube, comment on it. We'll get your orders in. Yeah, we do have t-shirts now as well. So if you guys are interested in some of those, let us know. Those will also be on the website when we have them up and running.
And like he said, you guys can go ahead and comment on the video if you're wanting a shirt or you're wanting some of the baits, whatever it is, and we will get a hold of you and get everything figured out to ship that out to you. Go ahead, hit that like and subscribe, hit that bell for any of our upcoming videos.
And we'll share this onto our Facebook page.
This will be shared onto our Facebook page also. I want to give a shout out to Brody's Baits, Fleshner Outdoors, Billingsley Brand Lures. They are all of them are great people to work with. And shout out to Duke Traps, who is officially our new sponsor.
Yeah, shout out to Duke Traps. That's also a huge blessing. I mean, we talk about it all the time. That's 98% of our traps in here are Dukes. I mean, that's what we run. That's what we love. And to get an opportunity to work with them the way we're about to be working with them is awesome. So, but we're the Avid Outdoorsman guys, and we'll catch you next week.
We're out.